Relationships are really important. In fact, whether we're rich or poor, whether we're powerful or not, popular or not, our happiness comes from how healthy our relationships are with our family and with our friends. I think the media has missed the mark on its messages about friendship, love, and family. Some of you might find this video doesn't match what you think. I'm okay with that. But I've noticed some things that I think are true, and they impact society in a negative way. This video will talk about how we can strengthen our relationships, increase our love, and empower our families in this time when it seems like things are going in the other direction. Every person who's teaching you something is just teaching you vocabulary words. Did you know that? Anything you learn is just a vocabulary word. So what does the media think about the vocabulary words friendship, love, family? Let's start with family. What is the media? The media is music, books, YouTube, videos, movies, television, articles, newspapers. That's all considered media. And there is a definite opinion on what friendship, love, and family mean. When we talk about family and how they've defined family, it has changed in the media. It used to be that family was encapsulated in images like Swiss Family Robinson, the Brady Bunch, Laura Ingalls Wilder, Jane Austen, the Jackson 5. Do those things sound familiar to you? They're all about family. And their messages were all about strong families, not dysfunction in the families. You can read the tabloids that say there was controversy in the Waltons family, and they're telling you now in the 2000s something that was happening back in the 1980s, but that's not what they were showing on the media. And even if it was true or not true, the message that came through was this Waltons family cared about each other. They loved each other enough to say goodnight every night to each other. That's what family used to be defined as in the media. But how is it being defined now? So let's compare those names that I mentioned and those titles of programs and song groups that were in the media a while ago, back in the earlier 1900s. Let's compare them now with groups that are portraying families or lack of families in the 2000s. And let's notice the difference. Now, I am aware, this is the part where people could be offended, okay? I am aware that I might list some things that you hold near and dear to your heart. They might be some of your favorite bits of media. Try to overlook that. We're trying to look at how they're defining family. Whether you enjoy it or not is not the point of this video. It's how they're portraying family, okay? So I've got a list here. I want to just read these to you. Number 1, I know here comes the hate mail, J.K. Rowling, okay? I've never met her personally. I don't have an opinion on her personally. But let's look at the Harry Potter stories. What is the message of family in the Harry Potter stories? Are they good families? Does Harry have a good family life? How are all of the parents portrayed? Do any of these parents of these children seem to have it together? Very rarely do you see it. Interesting. Here's one. What about 50 Shades of Grey? I don't even want to talk about that story because I don't think it's an appropriate story at all, just from my own opinion. But that is all about ecstasy and sex. Calling it relationships? That's not family. What about Lemony Snicket? Do you remember those books? I'm trying to remember the name of all of them, but like Series of Unfortunate Events. I think that's what they were called, and there was even a movie made. I think Jim Carrey was in it. Anyway, I didn't see that movie, but I read the first book or two and went, you know what? This is really dysfunctional, even exploiting the children in a way that's really damaging. And if you study the author, Daniel Handler, who calls himself Lemony Snicket, he's not such a shining character. I'll probably get hate mail for that. What about Twilight? Really? Twilight? Did you know that Twilight caused women around the globe to ask their boyfriends and husbands to wear fangs and chase them around the house? Interesting. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Is that really good family bonding? Or good relationships? Or good love? I don't think so. What about Lady Gaga? Need I say more? What about Taylor Swift? She might have a great voice, but what's her message for family? Beyonce? What about The Simpsons? There's a stellar example of family, right? All dysfunction, selfishness, no service, complaining, man power, woman power, kid power. Interesting, isn't it? This is the type of dysfunctional message that we're embracing about family. What about Sex and the City? Where's the family message there? What about Survivor? What about The Modern Family? Super popular program. They're always keeping secrets from each other, manipulating each other. What do we see in that program? What do we see in The Simpsons? We see Dad is a doofus. He tries to be a funny guy. He doesn't really know what's going on. Is that how we want to portray Dad? We see Mom as a victim. She's smart. She has to handle everything. She's super capable, but she's also kind of clueless too to what the kids really need and really want, and so they just go and take it themselves. The messages that we're getting about family from these media sources are definitely not the same from what many of us were raised on. Here's a list of some other messages that come through about family in the media. And I'm just going to read through them really quickly. Number one, remember, family is a burden. Number two, we have to lie about being perfect because it's all about how our family looks to other people, not about how we really are. This comes out in program after program, how they laugh and joke about being perfect for the neighbors. What a horrible message. And then there's neglecting the children's needs. It's just not important. The kids are too needy. I need to do for me. So the message about family is it's not really as much about family. It's about me. It's about how I feel. Me, 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 me. It also portrays, like I mentioned before, that the parents are kind of clueless. Dads are dippy, socially awkward. Moms are emotionally out of balance and controlling. And the kids lie to the parents. It's expected that the kids lie to the parents. I have other videos about lying, so you can see those for more information on how to help with lying and curb that in your family. But I do just want to say, children do not have to lie to parents. That is not a normal part of life. That is a byproduct of improper social development. And the family is a social unit. So that means that the children have not been developing properly. And then finally, family is something that you have to get through before you start your real life. Family isn't real life. It's just this thing that we do. And when we're done with it, great. When we're older, glad I'm done with that. Now I'm going to have my golden years and do whatever I want. Everyone's always looking forward to not having their family in the media. Have you noticed that? I don't like it. I feel like it just breeds discontentment. Why would we spend our whole lives of childhood looking forward to having a family of our own, only to decide we can't wait until it's over and until we get to do what we want to do? So what do these views about family do to the family? Do you know that when you portray the family in such a way as is being portrayed now in the media, it makes no one trust the family? People look outside of their home for safety, protection, and sources to trust. That's so sad because they won't ever find it outside the home. You can find good friends that can help you along the way, but they'll never replace family. So let's talk about friendship. How is friendship portrayed in the media nowadays? Well, here's my list. I have noticed that with friends in the media, they gossip with each other. That's one of the main roles of friendship, for them to be your sounding board, to tell all of your problems to, and to say, oh yes, you've been so mistreated. And what kinds of things are you gossiping about? You're gossiping about your spouse. You're gossiping about your children. You're gossiping about the things that are supposed to be the most important to you, that if somebody asked you what's the most important to you, you would say family. That's what you're talking bad about to your friends. That's what the media shows. What else does the media show us? That friends are people you might sleep with. Just think of that old television show, Friends. Didn't it show that? Anyway, I know that wasn't in the 2000s, but it's still actually popular. People watch it on YouTube. They would just go back and forth with who's sleeping with who. Is that really the role of a friend? Maybe the media teaches us other useful things about friendship. Let's see. Maybe that your friends are your real family. Not really your family. Friends can replace family. In fact, that it's healthy for friends to replace family. The media also teaches us that friends are the only people who truly understand us. That's sad. The media teaches us that friends are people who use us, and that friendship is all about using somebody else to get whatever it is that you want. The media says that friends may be something that are truly rare, and that friendship is something that many people don't even have. There are some people that lament the fact that they don't have somebody to gossip with, that they don't have somebody to be their real family with. They feel like they're missing something. In fact, more than anything in this 21st century, I keep seeing this message of depression, of sadness, of I don't have. The root of that is entitlement and lack of purpose and lack of understanding of who you are, where you're going, and who the people around you really even are. We don't understand friendship and their purpose in our life and the purpose in the lives of our family. So what about love? What does the media teach us about love? How does the media view love? They usually view love as lust or ecstasy or fantasy, except for when it comes to pets. Because with pets, we see this love and admiration and fascination and praise. How sad that we're giving love in the media to pets, but for humans, it's all just about physical attraction and romantic moments. Maybe I shouldn't even say romantic, because romantic sort of does seem like love, but usually it's just lust, want. I want you is what is often said in movies and in conversation in books when somebody is expressing love. Real love is accepting the faults in another person and sacrificing for another person. Real love doesn't have to involve sex or fantasy. I love Hallmark movies. Do you love Hallmark movies? They're picture perfect. Just so romantic. The first glance in such a right way. Finally, when they get to that first kiss, it's so deep, so tender. Picture perfect. Many people think love has to be picture perfect because that's the way the media portrays it. In fact, I have known of women who will not accept the love and dedication and deep admiration and commitment of a man because it just doesn't seem picture perfect enough. I've known of couples who will not have romantic relationships with each other because they haven't been wined and dined enough. It's not picture perfect enough. How sad. How sad that the media is ruining our image of what a healthy, stout, good love looks like. It looks like the very best of friends. It looks like the people who can talk with each other about anything, who are open even to each other's faults. It looks like the people who can help the other one through a hard time. True love opens the heart to humility and understanding like nothing else. And the pinnacle of that true love is marriage. Husband and wife committing to each other to share forever through the ups and the downs, the goods and the bads, the perfects and the nots, the skinny and the pudge. That's real love. And we don't get to see that often enough. What does that view of love do to family? The view of friendship and the view of love in the media is making the view of family worse. The view of family being whole, being supportive, being exactly what is needed to create a strong person is what we've got to get back to. I do applaud and appreciate some filmmakers, some authors, some musicians who are doing this. I don't want to undermine what you're doing because there are some people who are trying to present the correct view of family, love, and friendship. They're showing it for what it really is, and they're doing it in a way that heals instead of divides. I love that. We've got to be so careful what media we show our family because we don't want to destroy our families through our entertainment. That wouldn't be good for us, would it? Our family relationships are more important than anything. I know you're going to love the next video that I have for you, which is called How Can You Improve the Relationships with Your Family? Watch that. Learn more about how to strengthen your family relationships. Those family relationships are going to carry you through this time where people don't understand the family very well at all.